Hi, this is Zach here with the Bulletin Board Heroes here at Zach's Traders Cafe for Tuesday, the 26th of August. Starting off with the FTSE 100, where I thought the red line there might be superfluous to requirements towards 93.30, but actually it has been a spot or a mark of resistance. Below that, we have the risk of a test of that uptrend line there from June, which is basically the top of the rising trend channel from last month. That's around 91.70 at the moment, so potential support there. RSI still well above neutral 50, so that's good, but we need an end of day close now through the red line 93.40 to give us the projected target there of 9,500 by the end of next month. Worst case, I suppose, is that we have to test the 50-day line towards 9,000, but hopefully we can get away with that. The small cap area seems to be buzzing like a bee at the moment, so presumably some of that goodwill will filter through up to the blue chips as well. On the DAX is next, and here we're looking at a situation where a bit of a dead market over the recent past. We've managed to gap down today to the 50-day line, which has all been factored in, as has been the support near the 50-day moving average, 24,027. In fact, we bounced above that, which tends to be leading indicator on the upside. Probably can get rid of this July resistance line now, because there hasn't really been much help. It's all about recent resistance through 24,500 and that 50-day line at around 24,000. We do break down, the worst we're expecting at the moment is probably towards the August support there, 23,300. But if we're lucky, and it looks like we might be, we'll get away with support above 24,000. Onto the Dow, which obviously I looked at over the weekend, but always good to have a second look at this as well. Here you can see that we had the big spike through the 25,000, the 45,000 level, rather than obviously yesterday the market opened. I just remembered, rather than the UK one being closed. We are basically looking forward finding support there at 45,000 above that, looking for 47,600 at the top of that May 2024 rising trend channel. And we're looking for that by the end of next month. Worst case on the downside would be the 50-day line, 44,100, the worst expected on the downside, that particular level. Moving on to the cryptos, where it's one of those conundrums at the moment as to whether the Bitcoin market is being taken over or superseded by Ethereum. At the moment, we're trying to guess where this market's going to bounce. The floor of the channel there around 107,000. Above that, hoping that we'll have the resistance up to 116,000. But the main thing is hoping that the floor of the channel will come in there, 107, and that will be the limit of the sell-off, which has been now from 124 to 107 would be quite a big hit. Moving along to Ethereum, and here we had the spike to new highs at the end of last week. We're back now below the old target area, 4,600, hoping that we'll find support on the right side of 4,000, but obviously very volatile situation. The main plus point at the moment is that the RSI remains above neutral 50. We've basically been above that level since the beginning of last month, so that shows that we are still in a strong bull market or bull run, and probably it's not too early to draw an uptrend line there and assume that that will be held towards the 4270 area, and then we're going to head higher again. Best case here is up to 5500 plus by the end of next month, which is the upper parallel of that rising trend channel from back in March. Moving along to gold, which presumably is not quite so volatile at the moment. Here we've had a situation where we're trying to take up the slack of the big move that we had to the upside from April, basically from January to April. So far, we've been within a rising trend channel from April. The top of the channel, they're heading for 3,800. That's our best case scenario target for the end of next month, the end of September. But we are in sore need of an end-of-day close or a weekly close back above 3410 and that red April resistance line. But still looking as though this is a positive consolidation, and with the RSI back above neutral 50, maybe the next few days will be the time when we break 3410. Moving on to the stocks, and lots of winners here, or at least in terms of the charting. And starting off with Alien, where the picture has been that we've shot through the first target there, 0.18, looking for the second target there at basically 0.28 and hoping for that hopefully over the next week or two. See multiple RSI 50 rebounds since the middle of last month as leading indicator on upside, as has been the extended support for the stock above a rising 50 and now rising 200-day moving average. So above 0.18, looking for 0.28 on that. Decent announcement today from Cloudbreak, and here you can see the shares have gapped up. We already had 0.3 as the target, which was successfully hit. Now we're looking for up to 0.55 by the end of next month, while we remain above 0.3. Uptrend line in the RSI window, and we gapped up off the low, and obviously with the rising 50 and 200-day moving averages, the next time they cross will be a golden cross, and the run up to a golden cross tends to be the strongest part of the cycle. Onto Cobra, which is nearly approaching the third target here at 4 pence, gapping up as well. So it still looks as though there's plenty of gas in the tank. One was obviously now trying to work out what the next level up may be, and looking for perhaps the upper parallel of that resistance line there from the late 2020 time frame, and looking for that hopefully by the end of next month, so 6 pence plus by the end of next month, while we remain above or on the right side of the 3 to 3.25 pence zone, basically the last gap to the upside, the previous gap to the upside that we had before. Today, you can see the RSI has been above neutral 50 since early April, which is absolutely amazing for a small cap situation. On to Distill, which is not quite as exciting, but could be, I suppose, over the near term. Here we've got a step progression here. We've got rising 50 and 200-day lines, and looking for the shares to hit the top of that channel there, 0.41 by the end of next month. That's a punchy call, but looks like a punchy chart with the gap fill that we had at the beginning of the month, and then the sideways to up step progression, in other words, that we've had for August to date. Enjoying seeing First Development Resources edge up, and we had a great day on Friday with the shares opening at the low, closing at the high. We also had one of those days back earlier on this month, and another one on the 20th. So it looks as though a significant buying coming in here. I think one can say that, and looking for a minimum now at 11.5 pence, hopefully in coming days. So well done to that company and that stock. On to Filtronic, where a $62.5 million deal was enough to get the shares up 7%. I think if that was my company, I'd be slightly miffed, but we do see that Filtronic is in a rising trend channel based at £1.30. Above that, looking for up to £1.80 or 90 even, maybe by the end of October, given the current slow price action. But hopefully at some point, one or two people will take notice of this situation, especially now that the RSI is now trying to push through the neutral 50, or it's actually above neutral 50. Probably what's missing here is an end of day close through the 50-day line, and then one would be looking for £1.80 or 90 with more confidence. Next up is Geo Exploration, which somebody reminded me was Global Petroleum. If I'd remember that, I probably wouldn't be charting it, but here you can see that we're rapidly approaching the 0.42 pence target, which is what we're looking for while we're above the initial August resistance of 0.305. So hopefully we'll get 0.42, maybe even as soon as the first or second week of September. We're going great guns at the moment, and actually looking for probably much more here over the near term. We'll try and work out what that might be the next time I update the stock. On to Gunsynd, which had a decent up date today. Here we've got potential of the shares being at the bottom of the range, an uptrend line in the RSI window, so that's a bullish divergence versus the slightly lower price there, and looking for the shares to at least head back to 0.14, which has been the main resistance apart from that spike that we had briefly during July, but worth looking to see whether that will finally have a lasting turnaround. Guardian Metal is next, and here I'm quite pleased that I upgraded the price channel there. Was looking for up to 103, I think the last time I charted the stock, which may have been in fact on Sunday, can't quite remember. The current situation is slightly problematic in the sense that we've gapped up and don't really have any near-term support. Probably looking for the middle of the gap there around at the 80 pence area as support if there is a pullback, and looking for still that 103, 104 by the end of next month, or even much sooner than that. Obviously, great news with Mila on the ticket. Onto Jangada, not quite as impressive here. You can see that we've bounced off the floor of that triangle. We've got bullish divergence, and we've broken recent neckline resistance at 0.59. You could probably argue that above 0.62, which was the old May support, we're looking for the top of the range, 1.2 pence, maybe by the end of October. So hoping there was a lasting turnaround there. I just covered Landore very recently after a long time, and happy that this has had a decent triangle rebound, triangle floor rebound, also bullish divergence, which was noted before. Minimum on the upside here, 3.5 pence at the 200-day line, maximum up to 4.75 by the end of October, or even sooner. I suppose we're really lucky by the end of September. Ideally, we stay above 2.6 pence, the old July support. On to Mila, which has also done what was wanted of it, which was to head towards that resistance line there. 1.2 pence, obviously retesting the May peak as well. Probably one can easily upgrade that upside now towards 1.4 pence, looking for that by the end of next month, while we remain above the 0.8 pence area, basically Friday's resistance. Mosman is next, and the company celebrating an announcement this morning with a 10% rise in the share price. We're seeing support coming in above the 50-day line. 3 RSI 50 rebounds above the neutral 50 level, which tends to be a leading indicator on the upside. So expecting at least the 0.04 to 0.045 level over the next 2 to 4 weeks, while we're above the 50-day line, 0.026. On to the last two. The first one is Oriole Resources, which had a humdinger of an announcement today. I think I did suggest that the company didn't use the word bonanza enough in the RNS, but people obviously spotted that that was the nature of the game. Here we've broken through the old target, which was the top of that falling trend channel, 0.28. Above that, looking for the top of a triangle there from September last year, as high as 0.48 by the end of next month. Finishing off with Wishbone with the new Great and Gold, maybe we could call it Great and Gold 2, I'm not sure. Here you can see that we've hit broken various targets. The first one was 0.29, second one 0.5 or so, then 0.75, 1.1, and then 1.45. And I suppose we're almost running out of targets here. I think the next one from memory is decent clearance of the 2 pence level, which was resistance on the way down, so 2.1 pence, hopefully by the end of next month, while we're above 1.45. But the charting seemed to work there, especially with the two unfilled gaps to the upside. That's it from me today. More updates tomorrow.